Hi, karibuni Kid Sasa TV. Leo tunazungumza na Maridady Motors and I'm just waiting for the CEO to join us. I also put the link up hivyo kwa comment section. So if you're really interested to ask Maridady about investment, please click on the link na itakuleta direct kwa studio. Just make sure you have your Wi-Fi signal ikuwe strong. Make sure hakuna kelele mali upo, and make sure pia your room is well lit. We are going to mix both English and Swahili because some of our subscribers si wa Kenya tu peke yao. Some are Arabs, some are Indians, some are Romanians. So we are going to mix so that at least kila mtu aweze kupata what we are saying. My director ananiambia we are late by 2 minutes, but me naona nimeanza on time. I'm always on time. Please have a look at this. Kila mtu amengoja kusikia hii Maridady wanapatia Habs gari saa ngapi?
Habs, the guy.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Hatutaki ku waste time because najua kuna traffic na tungependa tumalize interview mapema tukuachilie.
Thank you, no worries.
So you're going to be doing a lot of talking. So on my end, nitakuwa tunasikiza with my followers here.
Okay.
So without wasting time, just tell us who is Maridady and why Maridady, and why do you think we should invest with Maridady?
Okay, good. I want to first of all start by greeting everybody and also by thanking you for giving me this opportunity to interact with the people that live on that side of the world. Indeed, I don't take it for granted, both as Eric Mwangi in person and also as a company. Every time we have an opportunity to interact with people who are in the diaspora, for us, we consider it a big honor and a lot of respect for it. So I will start by introducing myself as a person. My name is Eric Mwangi Ngigi, and I am the CEO for Maridady Motors. I am also the founder of Maridady Motors. I would say that apart from now, what people know me for, the business that I do, I'm also a Christian. I have a family. I am married to one, Dr. Lois Mwangi. I have two kids, and we recently got another newborn. So now I am a father of 3. But because I was used to saying that I'm a father of 2 every time for the last 10 years, I have been saying I'm a father of 2, I'm a father of 2. So my brain has not properly adjusted to the new baby. So sometimes I'm still finding myself saying I am a father of 2, but I'm a father of 3, 2 daughters and 1 son. My firstborn is 10. My secondborn is 8 years. My thirdborn is 2 weeks. So Habs, you just got me from paternity leave by force. I should be on paternity leave right now.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember we had a chat last time. Ukaniambia uko on paternity leave. So thank you very much for creating time for us.
And I want to say that Maridady Motors basically is a company for selling motor vehicles. Our core product is cars, vehicles. Tukiamka, tukilala, sisi tunaclear maneno ya magari. Every project that we do as Maridady Motors relates to motor vehicles. Yeah. So whether it's selling cars, whether it's setting up a network like Uber, whether it is setting up a circle, that circle is for financing people to buy vehicles. Whether it is setting up a garage or a car wash, those are the projects that we are doing now in the last quarter of this year. So in selling vehicles, I think I would first want to give you just a small preview on on what
Okay.
Maridady is all about. I want to share a screen with you. I hope you can see it. There are just a few things that I would like to talk about. One of them is our philosophies. What are the things that we believe in as a company? And one of the
Okay.
things that we believe in is a win for all attitude, that anything we do has to benefit our investors, has to benefit the company, has to benefit our customers. We basically believe that we should run a company that looks at for the interest of everybody that we are interacting with. We believe in honesty and integrity. We believe in problem solving. And we know that there are very many problems in the investment sector. And we are trying to solve some of those problems with some of our products. Hubs, I believe you've had time now to observe the company, I think now for the last 2 years, isn't it?
Yes.
And I believe that we've been very consistent in identifying problems in the auto industry, in the investment sector, and trying to solve them. We also believe in continuous growth and innovation. We believe in putting people before everything. And we believe in building an optimistic society. There's a lot of pessimism in our society. I mean, people only want to focus on things that didn't work. When you tell people to talk about investment, many people will want to talk to you about the investment that did not work. But the truth of the matter is that there are investments that are also working and nobody wants to talk about them. And I think this is the nature of human beings. Even when it comes to relationships, people would want to focus on the relationship that did not work. People would want to focus on the marriage that did not work. When we talk about people, for example, going to the Middle East to look for opportunities, I know that there are few people who don't do well. Yeah. But those are the people that everybody wants to talk about. But there are very many other people that are doing well that nobody wants to talk about. We are taking it upon ourselves as Maridady Motors to try and build a much more optimistic society. And that is where we are happy to join in a conversation like this, where you're talking about investments, just to try and inject some positivity and energy, positive energy into it. Yeah. So those are some of the values that we believe in. Our mission as a company, because it is important for you to understand the mission of the company, because I believe that if you are not agreeable to our mission, then you also should not invest with us or you should not do business with us. Our mission is to deliver high quality vehicles, the highest quality of vehicles possible at the lowest possible cost to our customer while creating a sustainable business organization. And if you look at our mission, it talks to the philosophy of win for all that I talked about. But what we are trying to do in the market is to deliver the best car, but at the best price, while creating a sustainable business organization. A sustainable business organization means that every stakeholder in that business organization is happy, whether it is the customer, it is the employee, it is the investor, everybody is supposed to be happy. And our vision is to be the most trusted car dealer in Kenya. Being trusted is one of the things that we value the most, and that is why we do our best to keep our word. Now, everybody asks me about the name Maridady. Where did we get the name Maridady from? And Habs, I always assume you are from Coast. So I think you speak better Swahili than anybody, maybe probably even far much better than me. We borrowed the word Maridadi from the Swahili word for beautiful. And that is why our logo is a butterfly, because a butterfly is a beautiful creature. Now, we only added the Y to make it youthful because we wanted it to sound like a slang. Remember, we came up with this name with my wife when we were in our early 20s. So we were fairly young people. So we came up with a word that sounded like a slang, which is Maridadi, now with Y at the end. Now, if you look at our logo is well thought out. We didn't just pick a logo. We picked a logo that talks about the heart of Maridadi. Our slogan is move your status. And if you look at move your status, if you look at the diagram there for the butterfly, you will see a creature that is fighting and struggling very hard to move its status. I hope that comes out to your mind, does it?
Yes.
That this is a caterpillar. Yeah, you can imagine. This is
yes, it does. Go ahead.
In my mother tongue, this is called kegunyo, is a caterpillar. And the hope of this caterpillar is to one day become a creature that actually flies in the air. Yet, as it is in the first form, it can take the whole day to move across the room. Yeah, it's moving very, very slowly. It moves very, very slowly. It's ugly. People don't like it. Kids step on it to kill it. The birds are there to try and eat the caterpillar. But the hope of this caterpillar is that one day it will become a butterfly. And this is the story of every human being. Every human being has struggles. Sometimes people have gone through caterpillar moments. Somebody is looking for a job, they haven't got a job. Somebody is looking for a relationship, they haven't got a good relationship. So at that point, you can actually say that they are caterpillars. Yeah, but the hope is that one day they can become butterflies. They can fly in the air. And that is why our slogan is move your status. Because one of the things that people do when they succeed is that they buy a car.
Is why
And
our
that is why we. Uh-huh. Am I moving too fast?
Yeah, I'm listening, Mr. Eric.
Yeah, so that's why we have this slogan and for move your status. So we've been running a theme in the company right now called Trust the Process, and I think we've been trying to encourage the market in that value of being optimistic. People have been going through difficult moments right now because of COVID-19. So we have been trying to encourage people to trust the process, and that is why we have been putting this sub slogan. So basically, now I can go straight and talk about investing in Maridady Motors, and I would want to go straight into looking at how the auto industry in Kenya works. And how the auto industry in Kenya works is that people import cars and then they bring to the showrooms, and the showrooms sell those vehicles for them. And one of the research that we did, we wanted to understand who are these people that import the cars. And we found out that the people who import the cars are very educated people. They are people who are tech savvy. Yeah, they can use the internet. We found out that these people have capital to import at least one car. We also found out that many of them are relatively young. Most of them are men. And we found out that most of them are in the main towns. They are either in Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret. They are operating in places where there is a showroom near them. So they get exposure to that business model organically. But the question that we wanted to ask ourselves was, some of the questions that we wanted to ask ourselves is, how can we have people who are less educated also participate in this business? Somebody has their 1 million shillings somewhere, but they don't know how to import cars. How can we have them participate in this business and make their money out of it? We wanted to understand, how can somebody who doesn't have the same skill in terms of technology and use of the internet be able to make payments electronically online through the bank and all that? How can we have that person participate in this business? We also wanted to understand, how can people with retro capital participate? Yeah, because most of the people that import cars are people who have enough money to import at least one vehicle. How can we have that person who has money to import half a car participate in this business? Because personally, myself as Eric, the way I got into this business was I partnered with a friend of mine. He contributed half the money and I contributed half the money, and we imported our first car. So we wanted to create a platform for that person who has 300,000 shillings to invest his money in the auto industry. We also wanted to ask, how can we have older people invest in this business? Yeah, the retirees particularly. How can we have women? Women are not too much interested in the issues of cars. Yeah, but here is an opportunity to invest in the auto industry. How can we be able to help people invest, women invest in this business? Then the last one is, how do we have people who are outside Nairobi, outside Mombasa, outside Nakuru, outside Eldoret, outside Kenya, benefit from the opportunity of buying and selling cars in Kenya? These are some of the questions that inspired us to come up with the investment product that we have. So we came up with what we call Maridady Import to Sell, which is a program that answers all the questions. And what this happens is that any person now that has some capital can be able to partner with us in the small way that they can. We will use their capital to import and sell cars, and we are going to pay them a pre-agreed profit on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, or even annually, depending on how they want to be paid. So what we have done as Maridady Motors is that we have invested in the full infrastructure that we need to import cars, transport them, store them, market, and sell them. And if you come on the ground, and we've ever had a group visitors from Dubai, if you come on the ground, you will be able to see that infrastructure. You'll be able to see the showroom. You'll be able to see the team. You will be able to see our transport facilities and all those things. So that when you invest your 500,000 or you invest your 300,000 shillings with us, you're not doing trial and error. You are investing in a business that you can see. You can send your cousins, you can send your brothers, you can send your spouses, you can send anybody that you trust to come and confirm that the things we are saying are true on the ground. They will even be able to interact with some of our customers in the showroom. Then also, we've created now an opportunity for a person with zero expertise, somebody who doesn't know how to import or sell cars, can now be able to invest with us and benefit from this business opportunity. Number three is that we have also invested in a brand. Our name is a big brand now here in Nairobi. I think if you ask anybody who is in the auto industry whether they know Maridady Motors, many of the people will tell you they know Maridady Motors. Then also we have invested in a team, a group of people. We've trained them. We continue to train them on how to handle our customers and sell vehicles to them. Habs, I would like to confirm that we are still together.
Yes.
Good. Can I continue?
Go ahead, please.
Fantastic. So let's look at some of the investments that we've done on the ground to facilitate our business. I've said we have invested in a car carrier. So this is the truck that helps us to move our vehicles from Mombasa to Nairobi. If you come on the ground, you'll be able to see it. We also use it to transport vehicles for people who are importing 1, 2, 3 cars. And that is why you can see we have a pay bill number where they normally pay us when we offer them that service. We have now invested in a Motorspa. This is a facility for offering after-sale support to our customers. We use it to clean vehicles, thorough cleaning, do those things like tinting, identity, do the fast service. This is a facility that is just about to start operating. Actually, it started operating this week, so I will be able to update this photograph because this is a photo of it when it was under construction. We recently started a driving school.
Okay.
We got the license about a week ago. Right now, where I am talking to you from, next to the room is our driving class actually going on as we speak. I think so far we have about 10 students. Why? Because we want to train our first-time car buyers on how to drive cars. We want to be able to offer them refresher courses. And we developed this product because customers kept on asking for it. We hope it will take us to the next level in terms of making the brand bigger and giving us even more customers to buy vehicles. Lastly, we have our showroom. I don't like praising myself or even praising our company too much, but I think if you send anybody to come to Kiambu Road, they will confirm to you that we have the best and the biggest showroom right now. And we also have the best location because we are the second showroom when you're coming from Nairobi on Kiambu Road. So we get a lot of customers walking into Maridady as the first showroom for them to check out the vehicles that they need. So these are some of the investments that we have done. This is not small investments. These are investments that run into tens of millions of shillings. And therefore, when you invest your 300,000, your 500,000 shillings with us, we have already moved ahead and done a bigger investment than you, just to show you that we are also taking the risk in the industry. We are betting on the industry. We think it is a good industry to invest in, and we have gone ahead to actually make the investments ourselves. Now, it's good for me to discuss the investor fears and concerns in Kenya. Of course, these are many. And like I said, if you want to be a company that focuses on optimism, then you have to ask yourself, what is causing all the pessimism? Why are people that negative? And one of the things we have found out is that people are negative about investments because of investments that have failed before. People have lost money through investments in this country. Pyramid schemes have existed in this country before. circles have failed. People have saved their money in circles that didn't work and they lost money. And because of that, today, if you tell them to invest, they will always remember the money they lost. So people are therefore concerned about the safety of their money. They are concerned about yield. Yield is the return on capital. How much profit will I make when I make these investments? And then, of course, people are also interested in knowing, once I come in, how do I go out? Yeah. Once I bring in my 1 million shillings, how will I exit my 1 million shillings from that investment? And I would like to address some of these concerns and the advantages of investing in Maridady Motors. And I think this answers the questions that Hab, as the administrator of this presentation, had said. His question was, why invest in Maridady Motors? I would say, number one is that we offer high safety investments. Yeah, our money is invested directly in tangible vehicles, which can be used as collateral. This means that we can be able to give you an investment model that is actually secured. Number two is that we have good ROI. This ROI stands for return on investment, yeah, of up to 15 to 20% per year. Currently, we are doing 15%. Of course, because of COVID, we hope that when the market comes back to normal, we can go back to 20% profit per year. That basically means that if you invest 1 million shillings, you're looking at making 150,000 profit per year, which would translate into 12,000 every month. Now, the other thing why people prefer investing with us is because we have a predictable entry and exit. Yeah. Now, when you come in, you come in for a specified period. So we will sign a contract that says that you're coming in for 1 year or for 2 years or for 3 years. Yeah. And because of that, now when your contract expires, you will give us notice and tell us, I don't want to renew my investment. Today, as we speak, I have received one notice from an investor of 500,000 telling me that when their contract expires in November, they don't want to renew. They have something urgent they would want to do with the money then. So when November comes, I will pay them the profit for November and pay them their capital so that they exit the investment. Yeah. The other thing also is that it is scalable and sustainable. There is no limit as to how much you can invest here. It's not like something like Boda Boda. Boda Boda, you can invest in 1, 2, 3, but trust you me, you will not be able to run 100 Boda Bodas. It's too much work. So you find that in an investment like Boda Boda, it's not scalable. Then also it's a win for all because our customers will get cars at best prices while earning very, very good profits from us. So who do we target? We target individuals. In Dubai, we have a number of people. There is one very good gentleman by the name of Steve. Steve invests with us in the line of smart PSVs. Habs, pass my regards to Steve if he's not in the presentation, and tell him we hold him in very high regard and a lot of respect. He has a number of taxis with us, and I also know that he's doing a very good job out there in Dubai. He runs a company called Stylex, and we exchange a lot of ideas and a lot of notes on how to do business in a better way than people have done it before. We also have a group called Kailisa. This one is in Saudi Arabia. I don't know whether you have followers in Saudi Arabia.
I think I do have followers. We have followers all over the world, so probably
Fantastic.
they are part of us.
So these are real people that you can ask. They've invested with us for a considerable period of over 1 year, and you can always ask them whether they get their profits on time. Then, of course, companies can invest with us, and other circles also do invest with us. So, like I said, we have two types of investments. We have secured model and we have guaranteed.
I just wanted to ask a question before we proceed.
Okay.
What are the latest models of cars do you have?
The latest model of vehicles that we have are very many. So whether you're talking about Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi, so you would have to tell me, is it cars for personal use or is it cars for taxi?
Let's talk about taxi.
The taxi right now, the trend is for people to use smaller cars. So we have people, for example, using the number one car for taxi used today is Toyota Vitz, the new shape, probably followed by Nissan Note,
Okay.
and closely followed by Mazda Demio, uh, then followed by a vehicle like Suzuki Swift and a vehicle like Honda Fit. But the number one for a person who can afford, the first vehicle they normally want to buy is a Toyota Vitz. Yeah.
All right. I got a question from my director. You were
Mhm.
talking about the type of investments he wants to.
Mm.
Actually, I think he didn't get the question out, the presentation about the type of investments you have. So if you can go back to it briefly, then we'll be
Okay.
okay to move on.
I'm happy to go back to the screen.
Okay.
You can see.
Yes. Can you
Uh,
try to zoom
stop
it?
screen. You have it now.
Yes. Yes.
Let me zoom it for you. You have types of investment, right?
Yeah, it's clear.
Good. We have the secured model. Let me explain the secured model. What happens here is
Yeah.
that we import a vehicle in your name so that the logbook is yours. So the
Okay.
vehicle is yours. It's your asset. And what happens also here is that we pay your profit when we sell your car. Because at any time you can walk into the showroom and say, "This is my car." At any time you can walk in the showroom and find your car is not there, it has been sold. That's what we call a secured business model. We give you the logbook to keep. Yeah. But then we have people who don't want that model. Them, they want a guaranteed profit. So them, they want to know every month, this is the profit you will give me. So for them, they don't care what car you import, in whose name you import that car. For them, what they want is the assurance that come 15th of every month, they are going to get some profit from the company. So those are the two models that we have. Then we have what we call smart PSVs. A smart PSV, I would want us to handle it on a different day, perhaps, because it is a completely different model that we have in the taxi
Yes.
side of the business. It has a lot of details. And what happens there is that you will buy a taxi that we are going to manage for you. But it is an investment model, it is not a vehicle ownership model. So, why I would want us to handle it on a different day is because it has two people that will be interested in it. It will have people who would want to own the taxis as drivers, and then it will also have people who will want to buy the vehicle as an investment. But it has quite a number of differences with the normal taxi business that people are used to. So for that reason, I don't want to touch on it briefly, because every time we try to touch on it briefly, we create more confusion in the market than clarity. And our intention is to create clarity out of it. So I would request that if you find it favorable, you can allocate a different day when we can be able to discuss the smart PSVs model.
I have a question here from one of our viewers, Mr.
Mhm,
Omomi. Is
mhm.
asking what are the requirements and the minimum amount to invest with Maridady?
Very good. The requirements are simple. It's just the documents you normally need to open a bank account. So we would need a copy of your ID or your passport, and we would also need a passport size photograph so that we are able to open the investment account for you. The minimum amount to invest currently is 300,000. Yeah,
300,000.
yeah, 300,000.
To do a
We also have
comparison because the go ahead.
you can proceed, Habs.
I wanted us to also touch on the ESV, if you don't mind,
Mhm,
because I have a lot of people who are interested to invest with you people, but they
mhm,
don't have the right information.
mhm.
So I have a plea if we can touch a little bit we do a comparison of the motorbike, even if it's gonna take us 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and the smart PSV, just briefly, because I have so many questions in my inbox about Maridadi, and most of the time I'm not in position to give accurate information. So someone was
Okay.
asking me if he bought a motorbike with Maridadi,
Mhm.
how are you going to handle it?
Okay. First of all, let me clarify something about investing in a smart PSV. We always don't have slots. See, like right now, if you wanted to buy the motorbike, we can't accept right now because we don't have riders who are ready to take up the motorbikes as at now. That is number one. This is an investment that requires two people. One, it requires us to have a rider who is ready to take up the motorbike and an investor who is ready to buy the motorbike. Giving an example using a car. If, for example, right now,
Okay.
Habs, you wanted to buy me a taxi. If you wanted to buy me a taxi as a smart PSV, you wanted to invest in a smart PSV at Maridady Motors, we will tell you
Yes.
right now the vehicle that we are accepting is a Toyota Vitz. Why? Because we have a driver who wants to take that vehicle to go and work with it. Yeah. So the way the smart PSV works, I am actually looking for the right presentation for it as we speak,
Okay.
and it looks like it's not on the PC that I'm using. The way the smart PSV works is that when you buy the taxi as hubs, we will take that taxi
Mm-hmm.
and give it to one of the drivers in our circle. We have a circle that recruits taxi drivers, and there will be an agreement
Mm-hmm.
that the taxi driver will pay us a particular amount of money. So, for example, if you buy a taxi worth 1 million shillings, let's take that as an example. If you buy a taxi worth 1 million shillings,
Okay.
we as a company will pay you 37,500 shillings every month. Where is that money coming from?
That's seven
That
five
money, 37,500. Where is the money coming from?
per month.
Of course, it's coming from our drivers. Yeah, per month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the smart PSV, the driver is going to work with this car for 2 years. So he will pay us that amount of money every month for 2 years. And in that 2 years, we
Mm-hmm.
are going to sell that old taxi to him. So we are going to sell that old taxi to the driver and pay you, the investor, the money that
Mm-hmm.
we have collected from the driver for selling the vehicle to him. So you will find that according to our contracts, if you invest in a car
Mm-hmm.
worth 1 million shillings, in total, after 2 years, you will have recovered your 1 million shillings, and then you're going to make a net
Mm-hmm.
profit of 300,000. So you're going to get in total 1.3 million shillings back. Are we together?
In 2 years.
In 2 years, you're going to have 1.3 million shillings
Okay.
back. Okay. So you
Okay.
can take your 1 million shillings and
Yes.
buy another car. You can take
Mm-hmm.
your 1 million shillings and buy another car, and then you will have a profit of 300,000. That is how that model works.
Mm-hmm.
So we have different cars, and every car has got different figures for it.
So in
Did you
terms
get
of
me?
maintenance, who is
Mm-hmm,
yes? In terms of maintenance, who is
mm-hmm.
responsible for maintenance? Is it you, the Maridadi, or the person who invested with Maridadi?
It is we, Maridadi. And that is where we are setting up a
So
maintenance
if
facility.
okay,
Yeah, we will maintain the vehicle in conjunction with the driver. Because remember, according to the
okay,
contract, at the end of the day, the vehicle becomes the driver's asset, right?
okay,
So
yes,
for that reason, number one, it makes the driver take care of the vehicle
okay,
because you would take care of a car that is going to be yours at the end of the journey, right?
yes,
So the driver takes very good care of this car. However, where there is a breakdown, we never go to the investor because that is why we are calling it a smart PSV. The person who has the primary responsibility to maintain the vehicle, one, is Maridady Motors. Number two, the driver who has been allocated that particular vehicle. Did I make myself clear?
So, this 37,500, is it guaranteed that? Yes.
Yes, it is
The
guaranteed.
question
It is
is,
guaranteed.
the 37,000, irrespective of the pandemic and the other unseen events, am I sure I'm going to get this 37,500?
Precisely. But let me explain something, for example, that we did during the COVID season. See, our contract is clear,
Okay.
and our contract does not have what you call a lacuna. It doesn't have a vacuum. We have anticipated everything, including the pandemic. So what the contract says is that should something like the pandemic, should something like the pandemic happen, we will pay you at least 50% of what you're supposed to get per month. Then we will pay the balance after the pandemic. That's what the contract says. And that is why when the pandemic came, we talked to all our investors. We told them the pandemic is here with us. It's clear nobody is working because of the lockdowns. The company will pay you a quarter or 50% of what you should get monthly from its reserves. And then we are going to pay the arrears when the market recovers. So right now we are still, for example, paying our investors about a quarter or a half of what they are supposed to get. Yeah. Then by the time we are getting to December, the market will have recovered fully. And then now we are going to pay them more to recover for the arrears that we didn't pay them.
There's a question here from one of our followers. The question is, what of this 300,000 K? What's the minimum amount one must get per month? Do you have cash worth 300?
No, I think this person is asking about the investment.
Okay.
So let me put on the screen the figures. So let's create scenarios. I hope you can see the screen.
Try to zoom.
I've zoomed it.
Yes.
So if, for example,
now
this one shows the capital, it shows the yield or the profit, it shows the tenor. The tenor here is the period, which is 24 months. And then it shows the annual profit, the monthly profit, and the quarterly profit. So if we take 300,000, for example, at 15%, it means the annual profit is going to be 45,000. Then if we divide this by 12, it means that this investor of 300,000 will be getting a profit of 3,750 shillings per month. Now, if he wants to be paid quarterly, which is every 3 months, it means that he will be paid 11,250.
Okay.
Yeah. If we take 1 million shillings, we will find that this investor is going to make 150,000 shillings every year. Now, if he wants to be paid monthly, it means he will be paid 12,500, which, if he wants to be paid quarterly, will be 37,500 every month.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just created here to create scenarios. Somebody with 1.2 would make 180,000 per year, which is 15,000 shillings, which is 15,000 shillings per month. The day I come back to do a presentation for the smart PSVs, I will show you different cars, their prices, and how much you make per month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's another question over here from Mr. Omami as well. If I can try to, he's trying to ask. Let me see if I can get the question. Apart from the minimum amount to invest, is there any extra administrative fee that an investor incurs? What are the percentages?
Yes, there is.
Do you have any hidden?
They are not hidden because ours are usually on the contract. In fact, they're on the first page.
Okay.
So we usually have a registration fee that depends on the amount of money that somebody is investing. But the fee is very small. To give you an example, if somebody is investing 1 million shillings and below, our registration fee is 10,000. If somebody is investing 2 million shillings and below,
Okay.
between 1 million shillings and 2 million, the registration fee is 20,000. Yeah, if somebody is investing between 2 million and 3 million, the registration fee is 30,000. Yeah, so it's like 10,000 for every 1 million shillings that somebody wants to invest is the registration fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want us to talk briefly about the motorbikes because I also got a question from people who wish to invest in motorbikes with Maridady.
Yeah.
So how does it work?
It works exactly like the cars. Yeah. So you will buy
Okay.
your motorbike. You will buy your motorbike from us. We will give your motorbike to one of our riders, the people who are interested in taking the motorbikes on credit. And then we will pay you monthly a certain amount of money depending on the motorbike that you bought. The motorbikes are different. Some of them have 150cc, others have 100cc, others have 125cc. And every motorbike is going to have a price and a return. So every motorbike will have a different price and a different return. Yeah, so that's how the motorbike business works. So we are going to have a chart that shows you that if you invest in a motorbike worth this amount of money, this is how much money you make per month. If you invest in this other one, this is how much you make per month. But like I'm saying, currently we are not accepting investments in the side of motorbike. Why? Because we have enough motorbikes. We have more people wanting to invest in motorbikes than what we would call credible riders. Because remember, by guaranteeing your return, we put our reputation at risk as a company. So we are really very, very careful on accepting to take your investment and put it in a motorbike if we do not have people that we think are credible to take up the motorbikes right now. So right now we are not accepting investment in the line of motorbikes because, as you know, the industry for motorbikes in Kenya is growing very fast, is very vibrant, but it has a lot of risks. So for us, before we can give a young man a motorbike on loan, he has to have saved with us for at least 8 months now. Previously, we were accepting 4 months. Now we are accepting a minimum saving of 8 months. We want to see that he's a determined person before we can be able to give him the motorbike. So right now, I would say that we are not accepting the investments in the line of motorbikes until we are able to bring up enough riders to take them up.
In terms of a car import,
Mhm.
if I want to import a car from outside and I want to use Maridadi, what are the procedures and how sure am I that that the car I'm trying to import will reach me?
Well, you can be sure because of our history. We've done this business now for almost 16 years. Personally, I've been in the industry. This is going to be my 17th year. For that 17 years, Hubs, if people are giving me money to import their vehicles and those vehicles were not getting to Kenya, I would not even have the courage to appear here online. I would fear that as I am doing this presentation to you, 5 people or 10 people will say, no, don't import vehicles with that guy. But I can come here because I am confident of the business we have done for the last 17 years. We have ensured that every person that paid us for a vehicle got their vehicle. So that is the only thing that I can tell you can hang on. You can hang on our history that we have delivered before. Right now, every month we are importing vehicles for people worth about 30 million shillings. Because we are now importing vehicles, the high-end vehicles worth 5 million, 4 million, 10 million shillings. Right now in the pipeline, I have an order for a vehicle worth 18.5 million shillings. I have another order for 12.5 million shillings. So you will find that because we are handling these high value vehicles, our sales turnovers are usually very, very high. So, and I think because of that, you should have the confidence that when you give us money to import a vehicle for you, that vehicle will definitely get to you. Now, how is the process? Is very simple. We just need to agree on the vehicle that you want. We will give you an invoice for that vehicle. If we agree on the invoice, we are going to send you photos for the car. Yeah. So if you, for example, you want a Toyota Ractis or a Mazda Demio or a Toyota Premio, you tell us there's a form you fill called vehicle specification form. So you're going to fill that form. It will
Okay.
show the vehicle, the color, the maximum mileage that you accept, and the price that we have agreed on. and then we are going to share maybe 2 or 3 or 4 units. Then we can select one. Until we agree on the unit, we cannot ship the unit. Yeah.
Do you have arrangements on installment?
We do have arrangements on installment, but I like to caution people and tell them that it is not wise to buy something in installment just because it is available. And I would say that this is a mistake that I also have made in the process of growing up. That just because somebody is offering you credit, you run and take it. I would say that when you're buying something on credit, I can see Steve is here with us. Steve, karibu sana. I was just talking about you a while back. So I would say that when it comes to our installment plans, we like to also take time and talk to people and tell them, as we are not in the business of wanting to repossess your car. So we want you to weigh your options and decide whether that is the best route for you. We also have the SACCO. Right now, as we speak, I have a member who will be qualifying for a vehicle from the SACCO. Actually, he was chatting me just today because we want to agree on the vehicle that we are going to buy for him. I'm checking his name on my phone. I don't know whether he's tuned in.
Okay.
I also don't know which country he's in. It's called Omondi. Yeah, Omondi has been saving for a vehicle with us for quite some time now. And when I was checking his record, he's actually called Edwin Omondi. Yeah, I wish I would share his photo on the screen. His number starts with +974. I think that is Saudi Arabia. Which country is that?
No,
Plus
Qatar.
Qatar, yeah. So this guy has been saving with us for the last 1 year, and right now he has gotten to 50% of the value of the car. We will give him the vehicle in the next 1 or 2 months, and then we will give him 2 years to pay the difference. Yeah, because we are in the business of empowering, particularly young people.
Okay.
There are people who they may want to relocate from the Middle East to come and work back home, and they think that the taxi industry is a good starting point for them. So we will be able to help them do that. There in Dubai, if you talk to a guy called Eric Mutua, who is a brother to a guy called Jengai and another guy called Steve Dwage, Eric Motua will tell you that he also bought his vehicle through us, and we were able to arrange financing for him to buy the vehicle. So you can save in our circle, and we are going to give you the vehicle after 6 months. Or you can also tell us to arrange bank financing for you, but that also would mean that you have to be somebody who is sending money back home, because the Kenyan banks mostly want to look at the Kenyan bank statement to decide what loan they can give you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another question here on the screen. The question is, what is the security? Yes, please respond to it kindly.
I would like to tell Omwami that first of all, to be very candid and to be very honest, is to tell you that there is no single investment on earth that is 100% secure. None. Maybe when we get to heaven, we will find investments there that are 100% secure. But here on earth, whether you decide to invest in a bank, whether you decide to invest in government treasuries, whether you decide that you're not going to invest in anybody's company, you're going to start your own business, or whether you decide that you're going to buy seeds with your money and plant maize or beans or bananas or wheat or whatever investment you decide to do, even if you decide to invest in cows that sleep in your own bedroom, that investment is not 100% safe. However, you cannot take a risk that is not calculated. So what I can tell you as Maridady Motors is that we have tried to secure our investments by ensuring a few things. One, we ensure that our stocks are insured. We also ensure that our yards are insured every step of the way. Even if right now, as I talk to you, I am told that a ship has sunk with 20 of our vehicles. As we speak right now, we have about 87 to 100 vehicles coming to Kenya. If I am told that they have all sunk, I have nothing to worry about. I will be paid by insurance. But the risk is there. But people sometimes push for too much security. There is nothing like 100% security in investing. There is always the risk. As I talk to you, where you are, you can be hit by an earthquake. I can be hit by an earthquake where I am talking to you from. So it's just an issue of ensuring that there are enough cushions to your investments without with that fact of understanding that also you will never encounter an investment that is 100% safe. And if you continue looking for an investment that is 100% safe, one thing that I can tell you for free is that you are not ready to invest, and there will be no investment that will be 100% safe. Yeah. Omwami, did I answer your question? You can
All right,
respond
thank
by
you very
chat.
much. I think. Oh yeah, someone is. I've got another question here before we sum up. If you can respond to that, and then we'll be.
Yes, I can see the question
summing
whether
up.
you will get your money back. You will certainly get your money back after the 2 years, and you get the full amount of money that you invested back. And I even gave an example in the beginning of this presentation. Today, I have gotten a letter from one of my investors telling me that they want to withdraw their 500,000, which is maturing in the month of November. And I said that when we are paying them their profit for the month of November, we will pay them inclusive of their capital. We understand that if, for example, right now I know that there's somebody who wanted to get their money back in January and we did not give them, I would not even have the courage to come here and talk to you, because they can always appear online and say, you know what he's saying is not true. But we try as much as possible to make sure that we adhere to the timelines. Sometimes there will be an inconvenience, like now during the COVID season, and you find that maybe somebody wants to get their capital back, and we want to request for an extension of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Our contract has all those possibilities in it, and it says that if for sure it is not possible at that particular time to give back the money, then what you're going to do as a company is to negotiate with the investor and agree, please give us an extension of 3 months, 4 months, so that the market can be able to recover. Yeah. Thank you, Kida Ahmed. You say we appreciate our honesty. Thank you very much. That is the spirit of this business.
Yeah, please go ahead. Your final word. Yeah, your final word.
My final word is to say thank you to all the people that were tuned in.
Yes.
And to also say thank you to you, Habs, for the great leadership that you're offering on that side of the world. I normally follow your post and I see how much encouragement you give to the people out there. I also see your mchongoano with the ladies and the young men. I see your jokes. I normally see your jokes on getting married. I hope you're married yourself. If not, I can send you one girl from Kenya.
Oh my God! Wow!
Tomorrow on Qatar Airways. And I can help you buy some boozes. And as your big brother, I'm allowed to, as your big brother, I'm allowed to challenge you on that. So anyway, my final word is to tell the people, wherever you are, do your best. Do not feel like life is leaving you behind. I think the most important thing in this life is to always do your best with what you have. If what you have is just a loaf of bread, do the best with that loaf of bread. If what you have is 10 shillings, do the best with that 10 shillings. Do not neglect or despise the little that you have today, even if you don't have anything to invest today. Yeah. When it comes to spending, because if you're not investing, then you have to spend. Try to spend the little that you have in the wisest way possible and in the best way possible. Keep your hope alive. Do not lose hope. Keep your energy up. And one day, just one day, as we have talked about trusting the process and the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, you will also one day become a butterfly if you trust the process. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Eric. And I hope we're going to have you here next time to talk into details about this PSV.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Okay. Asante sana, boss.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.